And good evening. Welcome to the Thursday evening edition of RIdgecrest Talk. I'm Robert Eierman, along with my co-host, Al Huey. And
you forgot my name, huh?
Huh? And tonight we are very pleased to welcome with us our County Supervisor, Mr. Mick Gleason.
Nice to meet you, Brother Robert. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Al,
coming.
thank you
coming
very
on.
much. Really enjoyed being here.
We wanted to talk to you about several things.
Okay.
But we'd like for you to be able to talk about what you want to talk about.
Oh, boy.
So, our
Okay.
first segment here, you got the floor to
I
talk
would like
about
to talk
whatever you want.
about. I would like to talk my prediction of the New England Patriot Baltimore Raven game.
Oh, that's
Okay.
this
there.
coming weekend. I'm going with the Patriots all the way.
Okay. But you are also going with the Seahawks, right?
I'd love to have the Seahawks win. Yeah, I'd love to have the Seahawks. Who are they playing?
Carolina Panthers.
They probably will win that one. Thanks for having me. Really enjoy being here.
Well, we
It's
appreciate
nice
you
to
being
be
here.
here. It's nice to have a venue. Thanks for Tom Wicknick for making the investment in this particular venue for media. I think increasing our exposure to news in this community is a critical component of our growth and our vitality as a growing community member over here in Eastern Kern. And so thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Thank you very much.
We enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, we enjoy it over here having you guys, so it's a two-way street. Thanks a lot. So a couple things I'd like to talk about. Since I got the mic, I'd like to bring, one of the things we're trying to do here in RIdgecrest is to build a bridge between Bakersfield and East Kern. It's critically important for us as East Kern and RIdgecrest in particular to understand, become more vibrant of a part of the Kern County whole. And we do that already in many ways, but sometimes things fall through the cracks, and one of the things I'm trying to do is bridge that gap. You know, we don't get to Bakersfield, California. It's hot. If you get satellite dish, you're not going to get the Bakersfield news.
That's correct, yes.
I mean, there's a gap. The bridge, the mountain range between us is pretty significant in terms of you know, information, services, and recognition of the value we bring. You know, we have a lot of things going for us over here. Where the leading employment is down in the Air Force. The third leading employment in Kern County is the Navy right here in RIdgecrest. The value of what we bring to the national scene is significant. And Kern County needs to reap the benefits of that, and we need to reap the benefits of being a member of that Kern County team. So I'm trying to do that, and in that vein, the Admiral also agrees with that philosophy, and he took the first step this year by coming down, Admiral Moran coming down to the Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce, and actually Bakersfield Board Chambers, and spoke to us and gave us a presentation. The first time an Admiral had been ever to present in front of the Board of Supervisors. The commanding officer of the base, Coyote, came down shortly thereafter, and he gave a presentation. So we're building that connectivity between Bakersfield and East Kern and trying to get that moving.
So we won't be the forgotten stepchild.
And let me show you, right, that's what we're trying to get to. You know, that's an easy to use phrase, and I hear it all the time because, you know, my constituents are Kern River Valley, RIdgecrest, Delano, Shaft. I'm not really Bakersfield. I'm the only supervisor that's not Bakersfield.
Okay.
I'm everybody else in the north and the east.
You got to drive further.
Oh my God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But let me tell you an example of how that's important to us. It's important to us because, for example, yesterday we had a meeting, the Admiral sponsored a meeting on the base, and we brought up some major department heads from Kern County to sit down and talk about his ideas and our ideas of creating a more vital or robust employment picture in Kern County and in RIdgecrest. You know, as their needs for retaining high-quality people and families to draw them into this community, you know, we have resources in Kern County that we can throw in that direction to help them out. We have, unfortunately, a oil industry that is having challenges.
Yes.
And there's been some significant layoffs over there. And so maybe we can get some of those high-tech engineers to understand that there are other opportunities in Kern County and bridge that gap again and get those families and get those high-tech intelligent brains, get them over here and put them to work in the defense industry.
You know, a lot of people probably forget that Kern gets a lot of money from the oil industry. And although we like the relief in our pocketbook from the low gas prices.
Right.
It really has a negative side, especially for this county.
It's a bitter pill. We're going to talk about that a little later. We're going to get into budgetary issues, and one of the things I want to talk about is the challenges we face coming down the pipe, and the decline in property taxes, that projected decline in property taxes caused by the decline in the price of a barrel of oil are significant. We're talking $40 to $50 million hits to the county budget. How are we going to manage that? What are we going to do with that? So we'll talk about that. We have plans. We've been, we're not sitting back totally reactive. We try to be proactive, and we try to anticipate and build. And
That's unusual for government.
Yeah. But county government is a lot different. I spent my life working in the federal government, the Navy, and I loved it, and I wouldn't trade a second of it. I just loved it. But as I got up in rank, I worked in more bureaucratic parts of the Navy, and I saw the lethargic way sometimes. No offense, Admiral, but I saw sometimes it doesn't move as fast as you'd like it to. But county government's not necessarily like that. County government can respond quickly, can anticipate problems, can move with more agility than the federal government. I find it quite refreshing, actually, to work in a smaller government place, because I enjoy having more input and more results. So that's part of it. So anyway, back to this job thing. So we're starting this focus on working together, the Navy, RIdgecrest, and Kern County, to bring all of us together to a place where we can collaborate more, leverage more resources, and find ways to find common goals and to succeed in achieving those goals. The mayor was at the meeting. The city manager was at the meeting. Kern County brought about 5 or 6 department heads. The admiral and his higher staff were there, and we had a great exchange of ideas. We talked about ways of sharing infrastructure investments. Is there a way? We also had Shannon Groves represented there.
Excellent.
We were trying to find ways that, not so easy, but to have an open mind and have a discussion about, are there ways that we can share future investments? The Navy has, all the ranges, a lot of buildings, a lot of advantages to being on a federal property. And the county may have needs for certain buildings and for certain infrastructures. Maybe we can find ways to work together.
All right, we're running out of time, unfortunately, for this first segment. But when we come back, we'll continue to talk with Supervisor Gleason. Join us right after the break for more here on RIdgecrest Talk. Welcome back, RIdgecrest Talk, the Thursday night version. We're here again with Supervisor Mick Gleason, who was kind enough to join us this evening. And we're going to continue on with what we were talking about. Did you want to wrap anything up there before we get into this?
I just think that we're making headway. Things are looking good. I think we're very happy with our relationship with the Navy. And I'm very happy with Kern County's relationship with the city of RIdgecrest. And I'm looking forward to even making it better.
All right. So we'll see more of the county involvement with the city and in Kern over here, which...
One of the direct ways, Al, is methamphetamine abuse. We had a massive, I'll just take a second on this.
Right.
We had a major forum, first time ever. We had a special board meeting this past Monday where the only thing we talked about was methamphetamine abuse throughout the entire county. And we took a survey, a snapshot of actual findings that we were discovering in Kern County today, and we put those statistics on the board, and we looked at them. And quite frankly, it's horrifying. Quite frankly, we have a significant drug problem throughout Kern County and in RIdgecrest. And so what that does for us is it starts building a plan for fixing that problem. Understanding what the facts are and identifying the problem gives us opportunity to build coalitions together to attack that problem.
Go after the supply line.
Right. Well, that's one thing, but the Kern County can shut its doors with the sheriff's department, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more. It's about educating our kids. You know, the average
sure.
age for a young person to be first exposure to methamphetamine is 13.
Wow.
So if you got any grandkids and they're about 13 years old, I challenge you to go home and just ask if they know anything about it and see what happens. I mean, the threat is real. Over 50% of our people going into our arrests, our felonies, are methamphetamine, directly methamphetamine related.
Wow.
It's killing our budgets, it's killing our schools, it's killing our communities, our churches, our neighborhoods. It's influencing every corner of our lives, and it's high time that we woke up, took a look at it, and got together and figured out how to fix the problem. And
we're going to have to have you
doing
back
that.
to talk more about
I
that.
would love to do that.
Yeah, that could be a topic.
One of the issues we wanted to hit on, which is hot throughout the entire state, the county, and for sure here, water.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you go to the store and get all the water you want.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, let me talk about that and direct my conversation specifically toward RIdgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley.
Okay.
Yes.
That'd be
And
great.
see what we're looking at in Kern County from there.
We are a little bit different than
Well,
the
we're a
other
lot,
side.
actually, quite frankly, we're a lot different. We're a lot different. Our aquifer is completely different.
Right.
And the reaction to our demand, the supply and demand on that aquifer is completely different.
Right.
But we have our challenges. We have been ranked as a medium priority basin by the Department of Water Resources in California, the state of California, which means that we're subject to a new law that was signed into law on September 16th of last year called the Groundwater Sustainability Act. One of the things we talked about with the Admiral yesterday was our beginning conversation with this. And we're going to roll out a major public awareness presentation of continuous town hall meetings and events to get people up to speed and understand what it means to us.
Now, to interrupt you, we talked to the manager of the local water district, Mr. Don Zadiba.
Yeah.
And his definition of that
Sustainability.
yeah, is you put in as much as you take out.
Bingo.
We've never
done that.
done
No,
that.
no.
So
right.
How do we do
how
that?
do you do that?
Okay. Well, we can do it. That's the most important thing is what I'm going to tell you, and what I want you to take away from this is it's a significant challenge, but I'm convinced when I look at our problem, we can fix it. And let me tell you how we go
Okay.
about doing it.
I'm interested.
I'm not as familiar as the Tulare Basin as I am with the Indian Wells Valley Water Basin.
Mm-hmm.
The Tulare Basin has specific challenges and problems that are going to be significant. A lot of those challenges we don't have here. We have a finite number of persons or vested interests in our problem, and we can get those sit at a table together and work on the problem. So let me go through where we are. First of all, the county is doing an EIR, which will be, the draft copy of that will be released in January. The purpose of that EIR is to bound the problem in terms of land use designations.
Okay.
We've had for years, our valley has been zoned as agricultural open space or whatever. The zoning hasn't given sufficient consideration to our sole source of water, which is our aquifer. So in order to remedy that, we are going through this EIR process to bound our problem. Once we have our problem bounded, meaning that perhaps more expanded profile in agriculture will be mitigated. Maybe perhaps we shouldn't have as much agriculture as we have, and we can bound the problem. So what we have now...
So what my understanding is there will be some restriction on how much...
there may be.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't read.
Or how much water usage and how they use it.
This EIR is nothing to do with water. It has to do with land use designations. So that's the first piece.
Okay.
That process is moving out. We should have a signed EIR sometime this fall in April. Spring in April. As that's moving forward, the governor signed this Groundwater Sustainment Act, which forces us, because we're medium priority, to establish a local groundwater sustainability agency, a local group surrounded by the water basin. Local is defined by people who are dependent on our water basin.
Right.
So that includes Kern County, San Bernardino County, Inyo County, RIdgecrest, water districts. There's a couple of them. I don't know if the Navy and BLM, because they're federal agencies, may or may not be able to play in this whole thing, be a part of this local agency. But this local agency has to be formed by June 30th, 2017.
Does LADWP play into this?
No.
Because
Well, they will.
They're certainly impacting the water.
They will, because they control a lot of what's going on with that LA aqueduct.
Right.
Which is one of the benefits we have. We're sitting here not too far from we have an aqueduct right there.
Yes.
How we get to that, if we ever need to get to that, we'll talk about. But let me keep moving through this thing.
Okay, we only got about 45 seconds before we go to break.
Yeah.
We can't do that. Okay, so we got to get moving on this GSA. The county has hired a consultant from Sacramento, an independent consultant who's going to be focused on our aquifer and our aquifer alone, and help guide us through the development of this GSA, this Groundwater Sustainability Act agency, and then develop a sustainability plan, what that means. Okay. That's going to be a combination of conservation techniques, of water treatment, of importation, or whatever.
We've only got 10 seconds, so we're going to have to go to a break. I know that, so just hold that thought. We'll come back. We'll talk more with Mick Gleason, and we'll talk more about water. So join us after the break.
Welcome back, and we're here again with Supervisor Mick Gleason. We were talking about water, and we don't have a lot of time, and he has a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's get back on it.
Okay, so we talked about setting up this local agency. It's going to have memberships that's going to be able to make decisions.
All the interested and impacted parties.
Yes. Now, they're going to be empowered by state law to they have certain authorities and powers. So they can fine, they can tax, or they can fine, they can manage extractions, they can tell you how much you can take out, they can tell you how much you can't take out. So they could say, Al, they could conceivably say, Al, you're taking 10 gallons of water. I'm sorry, but you're only going to be allowed 8. I'm sorry. You're going to be. I'm sorry. They're going to. Well, or they may take the tact. You want to, Rob? You want to build a farm, or you want to have 20 acres of pistachio trees, or whatever it is? Fine, go for it. But we're putting a meter on your well, and you're going to have to pay extra for that water. They're going to do something to manage the production of water.
That's just tax. How does that solve the water problem?
Well, here's the deal.
It gets back to what I'm saying. They're going to make people use less.
Right. They have to. Eventually, they have to, but that's not, alone will not satisfy the problem. Conservation alone will not do it, and this is why.
We've always been overdrafting.
Yes.
It's just a matter of, we used to be 1 foot. Now, during the drought, we're closer to 2 feet.
Really, I think, Robert, that's not completely accurate. Because it's not the drought that's so severely impacted.
We are overdrafting more, whatever
Yes.
the cause is. The drought certainly has had an impact on it.
Yes, sir, it has.
And the part that always concerns me is there's a part of me that says everybody's running around saying, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, when we're really not in the crisis for water that we seem to think we are. Now, when we had Don Zadiba on, I forced him to say that we're not running out of water anytime soon. How deep is the aquifer? How many years can we overdraft at 2 feet per year and still have water?
Right.
And I say that that's got to be approaching several hundred.
Several hundred what?
Years.
I hope you're right.
We could do nothing.
I hope you're right. Do you know that? Or
No.
do you just think that?
I just think that.
That's exactly our problem.
Al
We were
told me-
talking about oil earlier. Do those people drill for oil over there with divining sticks?
No, I don't think so.
They have science.
Right.
Why can't that same science determine what our aquifer
The size, the
actually
shape,
is?
the
How
depth
big
of
is
our
it? How
aquifer.
deep is it?
Let me give you a very simple answer.
Okay.
Money.
Oh.
We spent $15 million in Fremont Valley just last year
Okay.
We didn't, but a company did, characterizing the aquifer in Fremont Valley.
Okay.
There's still people that argued vehemently that they used wrong science, wrong numbers, and they didn't come up with the right answer.
Yeah, well, we've had that argument.
If you want to
for
find out how
years.
much water we got, I think we could do that, but it would cost millions of dollars, and we don't have the money to do it. It's not going to happen.
You will after you get done taxing us.
No. But let me tell you.
Water district's talking about raising the water rates already.
Of course, and it's not going to stop.
But isn't that double punishment? I mean, you tell the consumer, don't use any water, conserve, and your reward for that is we're going to raise our rates.
Why do they have to do that? Because people conserve, they're not selling as much water. They need more revenue.
I don't know. I can't speak for the water district. I don't know why they're raising rates. I don't have the science behind that. But
Well, they say it's because electric's gone up, the cost of chemicals has gone up.
Yeah.
They're selling less water.
deeper-
They're
I
taking
know-
in less money.
I know this. I can't explain water rates. I don't know. I'm not part of that.
Okay.
But I do know as deeper you go, the more expensive it is to draw that water out.
Yeah, because
Yes.
And the more it costs to
brackeries.
treat the water.
Brackeries.
Agreed.
Costs go up as the aquifer goes down.
Right.
The aquifer has been going down for about 60 years, about a foot a year, a foot and a half. It depends on where you are, what part.
Right, right.
So I don't know, but that may be why.
And that might
the
be a
rates go up.
problem if we only have a 10-foot aquifer.
So the problem we got in my mind, Robert, and I'm not an authority, but I don't
Neither am I.
I don't know how much water we got.
Right. And my point
That's
was, don't we need
the
to determine?
problem.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's the problem. And unless you have millions of dollars, we're not going to find out. And we don't have the money. The state doesn't have the money. We're not going to be spending the money to characterize our aquifer. We have to go on what we have, which is 60 years of studies done by some significantly smart people
Yes.
that we can leverage and better understand.
Which disagree with each other.
Yeah, but the predominance of the bulk of the study of the data strongly suggests that what's coming into our aquifer is anywhere between 8,000 and 15,000 acre feet a year. Mm-hmm. Okay, 8 to 15,000 coming in, and right now we're pumping out 25.
Right.
Okay.
And
With the increase in agriculture recently, in another 5 to 7 years, that's going to be pumping out over 30. So the water coming in is stable. It's about 8 to 15. Drought's affected a little bit, but not by much. But we're pumping more.
Yes.
That's the problem.
And I agree with you, but I just want to relate a story that I read in the New York Times about this elderly couple who was overdrafting their checking account. And they sat down and they said, oh my gosh, we've got to do something. We can't be a burden on our kids because at some point it's going to run out. So they formed a suicide pact, committed suicide, only to have the kids find out that at the current rate of overdraft, they had 300 years left of money. My point is the same. Do we have 300 years left of water? Why are we making such a big deal if we don't know that we have a problem?
You need to determine that
Let
first.
me tell you. I have I'll take the other side of that coin. We don't know how much we have. The big deal isn't being made by anyone I know who's in agreement with what we're doing. What we want to do is to take prudent, measured steps to ensure, in compliance with state law, to ensure that what we have today, that our sole singular source of water, we don't have surface recharge, we don't have much rain that dumps into our aquifer, it is coming off the Sierras at a slow pace. What we want to do is take steps now, slow and measured steps, to ensure our future. Because if we don't do that, then in 10 or 20 years from now, or whenever that time is, I don't know, people are going to be saying, we have to make bigger steps.
Well, we're going to have to talk about this another time.
I would
yes.
love to. I would love to.
We would love to have you
And we
come
have
back.
so much more we wanted to talk to you about, but we appreciate again
Gas
you being here.
tax,
And we want to have you back, and we'll talk about more about water.
Anytime. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for
Enjoyed
being
the
with us
exchange.
today.
Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, tune in next week for another version of Thursday Night RIdgecrest Talk with Robert and myself.